So moving from rings, let's touch on stones for a bit, right? You know,
These
some
stones, more
magic
stones.
ruby stones,
Yeah.
right? Yes. So we will
Some
be talking about
real MacGuffins.
yeah, Real MacGuffins, boy. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about the first season of Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft, right? So Ricardo, if you don't mind, I want you to do the synopsis for this, but yeah, pre-ramble
Sure.
time for me, right? So Tomb Raider, not the biggest fan of the franchise itself, you know, the beloved video game franchise. You know, we know you know if you're a child of the 80s or 90s, you know how big of a deal you know the first couple of games were, especially with the
Yeah,
representation of
yeah,
Lara
yeah.
Croft. You know, it was one of those
Yeah, they were
things where
big,
like,
big,
oh, you know, big boobies, what all that kind of stuff, right?
right.
Um,
But it's big technical, really technical marvel, actually.
yeah.
That's all impressive, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a nice take on, or I should say, a modern take on the Indiana Jones series, right? You know,
Pretty
well,
much, right.
films, right?
That's what it was. It's
Yeah, because
just,
we
yeah,
didn't really
this is
get
long before Nathan Drake.
yeah, exactly. You know,
Yeah,
Uncharted, right?
yeah,
Because we didn't really get like a new Indiana Jones, you know, film, right? I mean, there was
yeah.
the TV series that people just had to remind people, yes, there actually was a young Indiana Jones TV series, you know. We're like, oh yeah, that's true, right? But yeah, Tomb Raider was like, you know, was that for the 90s, right? But it was just this badass chick, you know, climbing and dodging and kicking ass and all that kind of stuff. That's what it was, right? There were the Angelina films, you know, which
Right.
I like for the most part. I don't love.
I like the first one. The first one was pretty good. The second one's always a time, but the first one is, I think, for at the time, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't despise the second one, but yeah, it was forgettable compared to the first one, right? And I felt it was perfect, like just Angelina Jolie at the time. Yeah, it was perfect
Yeah,
casting, right? When it came to the new film, I think it came out in 2014. I think it was right with
right,
Alicia Vikander, right? And I thought that was like a nice role for her too, you know, because she have that sort of
right,
lean, fit look anyway. And yeah, I
correct.
thought that she fit into it, right? So for
Yeah,
me,
this was based on the reboot
on the reboot
franchise.
franchise, right? So for me,
Right.
I prepared for that by playing my first Tomb Raider game. That would be the one from 2013, right? And yeah,
All right.
I absolutely enjoyed that game. That was a lot of fun, right? But I never got around to playing the other games, right? Especially the last one, well, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I was always meaning to play
Right.
it, but I just never got the chance, right? I think from that at that point in time, I just sort of tuned out from Tomb Raider. Right? It's just like I would still follow them on Facebook. So ironically, that's how I found out about this show here, right? Because I actually
Okay, right.
follow them on Facebook, right? So yeah, because Netflix put out the trailer for this. Like, okay, cool. And it's interesting now that it's from, you know, Powerhouse Animation Studios, right? You know, the same folks behind Castlevania, right? And yeah, I mean, Castlevania was just such a great series, right? Still looking out for the second season of Nocturne, right? Yeah. But yeah, you know, like this off of the quality that we got in Castlevania, yeah, I knew that it was going to translate very well into this, right? And of course, you know, they cast McGill, Haley Atwell, you know, to play
Right.
Lara Croft as well, right? But for me though, just going into this, I again, there's only one game that I played. That was the 2013 game, right? So apparently this series takes place right after Shadow of the Tomb Raider, right? So I just went
Right.
in not really knowing about side characters, not really knowing too much about the lore, or if it was changed at all, or if it stayed the same with the movies or the games. I don't know. I don't remember. I just wanted a solid, you know, video game to animated, you know, adaptation. That's really all I wanted at the end of the day, right? And you know, we'll talk about if this show did that or not, right? So Ricardo, if you don't mind, you could just touch on your history if you have any with the games, and then you could go
Yeah,
to your show.
kind of same with you. I play a couple of the games on thing. I remember. You go download.com and they have the Tomb Raider 3 demo. That bullshit, right? And you take 12 hours to download something that is like 10 megabytes, something like that, right? Uh, back in dial-up days. And yeah, that was
Yeah,
it. That was mostly
those were the days, man.
right. Yeah. But for me, I don't really have any like good like working memories. I don't remember buying any of those games. I just remember just playing the demo, some 6 minute demo, whatever it was. And that was about it. So it's only the first game I really got into the franchise was like in the mid 2000s, the one with her mom. Like I didn't keep up with these at all. In terms of the actual like understanding lore, caring about it was really the Angelina Jolie movies. Like, oh, that's what going on in these movies. Okay, it's very Indiana Jones, that kind of stuff. That's about it. I never super get into the franchise, but yeah, it's only popular because of one the technical, thing that it did in the time, it did it like in the mid '90s. That would have been really impressive stuff. for the PlayStation or whatever it is. Not the 32-bit era, the 64-bit era of video games. Yeah, that is it. Like pretty much it. Like I couldn't never really get into the franchise in that sense for what it was. And then, well, the reboot franchise was like kind of interesting because it felt gritty and whatnot. And I have no idea if that was a new thing or if it was just like a prequel or something like that. So that's about it. Didn't super love the franchise. Not a big super fan, but like, all right, your vibes it for what it is. And then the the new movie came. The new movies came out and like, all right, well, they're loosely based on the reboot franchise. All right, cool. Alicia Vikander, who I haven't seen her in a while. She kind of disappeared. But yeah, she's in those movies, and those just kind of fell flat if I remember correctly. So I was like, all right, well, what are they doing going forward in the franchise? And then, well, that is it. This is like, wait, we have a new Tomb Raider. They're making a Tomb Raider animated thing. All right, cool.
Yeah, well, I should just stop you for a bit. There was one movie though with Wakanda. I think just the reception wasn't as strong as the Angelina films, Jolie films, unfortunately. Well, ironically, I should say so. Yeah, but I still like it. It's just there was a twist near the end which like was on some Saw level shit, and I was like, nope, that don't work at all. What is this?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I can get into it as it was. It's like, all right, well, moving on. It's not a big deal. But then I just get into this show, and it's like, all right, so the show's supposed to be loosely based on what? See, the time period after or before I get into it, and it's like, all right, I enjoyed it for what it is. And yeah, so this one is just gets into a lot of like a lot of Chinese mythology, kind of, right? It's Lara hunted down these four MacGuffins, and it's basically something like the collected by a goddess is the collected, dark essences of humanity, put forward into these gems, and is to stop, from evil, or chaos, or the balance of order and chaos. That is, I remember, according to the little story that the woman told. And it's just collecting the gems as it is, and it's Haley Atwell coming together. Alan Maldano is a zip. He's pretty good. Like, I like him. He kind of funny. And this was fine. Like, as it is. Like, it is, tell this straightforward MacGuffin story. She stopped the bad guy. He almost collected him, and then she just sent back. She had to go and, like, more or less face off the goddess herself in terms of setting back the trinkets back into where they're supposed to be to hide them away. And, that's about it. It's good storytelling. It's good, normal detective, world globe trotting stuff. But I was not super into this. It was fine. But it was, not great. Like, it was just normal for me. That's about it. How you feel about this? Because, like, this just felt like really bland and going through the motions. I don't know if it's just, I guess spoiled by other shows or whatever it is. Because of the quality of something like Castlevania or something. But this was okay for me, but not great. Just fine, like 5 out of 10. I'm not sure.
Right.
Like,
well, 5 out of 10. Well, for me, I liked it. But honestly, it didn't stick out as much as I wanted to, right? Now, just to get the positives, I do like how they really make a really, really solid effort to try to stay true to the video game vibe of the show. Of the games themselves. So, there's a lot of, there's puzzles to solve, right? There's obstacles that you need to figure out, right? And there's the way how Lara figures things out on the fly and, takes risks and all that kind of stuff. Also, there's a few moments where she, taking, leaps, and you just say, like a human being can't take a leap like that and expect to, reach there, but somehow she does, right? Or somebody's always there to, hold she hand. They're like, come on, but you know what? It's a cartoon.
No, they do the usual game acrobatic stuff now. Yeah, it's like whatever.
Yeah, it's like in the real world, no, right? But whatever. So I do like that, right? I do like the action sequences as well. How connected they are. Going to Powerhouse, they love to do this, especially Castlevania. Incorporate some anime style kind of connected. In terms of the visuals and just the camera work and the animation. Very anime inspired with it too. And I think it worked, right? Story wise, it's derivative. It's stuff that you've seen before, but the problem with it, right? And I think it goes back to what you said about the problem with video games, with how they pull from movies, right? Yeah,
Yeah, they're
it's
already
that.
here.
It's the Indiana Jones thing. It's the mummy thing. I picked up on some mummy
Right, right,
stuff,
right,
right?
right, right.
It's you're going to an exotic place and you're looking for like these mystical things, but they have this evil power, and if a human acquires it, they turn evil and dark stuff
Yeah.
happens. So there's monsters and all these kind of things, right? Yeah, stuff we've seen before, right? This is one thief, Charles Devereaux, who actually is voiced by Richard Armitage, right? He's the one who played,
Yeah, right.
yeah, from Castlevania. That's him. I was like, hey, I didn't know it was him until I saw the end credits, right? It's like, all right, cool, still getting that Netflix money. Cool, no problem. Yeah, he is just, the bad guy who needs to get all the ruby stones and, to seek revenge.
Yeah,
on
because
this
it's like he was a
shadow
good
group.
guy. I forget his backstory is that he was like
Oh,
a nice kid.
yeah, he
And
was
then
a
he
nice
stopped
kid,
being
and
a nice kid.
yeah, he father owned a church, and this shadowy organization called the Light
Yeah,
wanted to use the church for nefarious stuff, and he was like, no, and then they kill him. Well, they kill the father, right? And yeah, if I just had one, well, just to get the negatives though, yeah, they could explore that even more. We just saw like some Light representatives. That's all we see with us pointing, but we never got a sense of who the Light is, right? But just going back to genre and just the derivativeness of what's going on here, yeah, we just supposed to think, oh, it's just some evil, shadowy organization that was there from years. Because they mentioned like the Knights Templar and stuff like that now. So it's more drawing off of what we know from adventure films and adventure stories, right? I felt there could have been time spent not too much, but just a little bit to kind of expand on why these characters are doing what they're doing, right? Especially Charles, right? And yeah, it is kind of by the numbers. You kind of know how things are going to play out. It was still fun to watch, right? I'll give it that. It was still fun to watch. It was still enjoyable and whatnot. But it just sort of stuck
I was pretty bored with it. I was pretty bored with it, but like
okay.
at least it was short enough episode wise. Like, all right, I can beat this off in a quick period.
I think that's why it was easy for me to sit through here, because these episodes clocking like about 25 minutes roughly. It's fairly short, right? Yeah.
And then all the side characters is stuck. Felt very stuck. So Zip felt very stuck. Yeah. Well, apparently he's a gay black best friend, but he's the guy in the chair. Whatever.
Yeah.
And that's cracking wise. All right, okay. See this? Okay, well.
Yeah, and I thought what was smart about that character, Zip is his name, right? Yeah, like all right. So I played the 2013 game years ago, right? But I mean, if you're familiar with games of that nature, there's always the voice in your head, or I should say,
the smart alecky,
right?
that character.
Who telling you,
guy in the chair,
the guy in the chair. That's what it is, right? Yeah, you need this is the legend. This is what you have to do. This is the puzzle. Figure it out. Boom. That's what he does, right? So yes, that also it's trying to be as video game accurate as possible given the genre and nature of it, right? So yes, you've seen this stuff before, and it is what it is, right? What I did not expect, though, I think this is really what makes this one stand out and make it make it a little bit more memorable than it could have been, right? Is the characterization though of Lara Croft, right? Nothing new, of course, right? But just how they touch on grief and how, mental illness, that I did not see coming at all. I think that actually works, just how they really flesh out just the mindset of Lara, right? Why she does what she does, why she, has very few friends, right? Why she's traveling around the world, and doing all these adventures. They bring up her dad, they bring up her dad's friend, who both of them actually die, and she kind of blames herself for the dad's friend's death and all that kind of stuff, right? And you see how that sort of affects her when she goes on these missions, right? There's one character by the name of Sam, though, who is voiced by McGill Karen Fukuhara, right? They just mention her in the first episode and then in the last there, but then with the last one, they just sort of set it up like, oh, Sam is a big deal now, but yeah, well, where was she throughout all of this though? I felt that was kind of weird, right? But yeah, other than that though, the side characters work as well, because I like Zip, he is fun as well. Yeah. Jonah, who is he's like the sidekick to for majority of Lara's adventures. Yeah, he's cool as well. Even though there were points that I was wondering if he was Maori or Mexican, I wasn't sure. I really wasn't sure at all.
No, I guess I assume he's like Hawaiian or something. I'm not sure.
Okay, cause I was looking at the tattoos, the
right. Maori probably. Yeah. I couldn't peg exactly where he was from, but yeah, it's something like he felt like like a Mario Hawaiian character or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because slight spoiler, there's a song that plays in the final episode that is Maury, right? So, but
Okay,
still,
yeah,
I was
probably,
watching
yeah.
him, but I was watching his fiancee Abby. I was like, wait, are they Mexican? I don't know, right? They never
Right.
really stopped to say, right? But yeah, I actually like the side characters. I like the banter between the two of them. I really do like Haley Atwell as Lara Croft. You know, she
Right, yeah,
got
she's pretty
that-
good in this.
Yeah, you know, she like to. She's cynical when she ready. You know, a smart aleck when she ready, but you know, she holds her own. And boy, she's a badass when she's ready. To. I love for that they incorporate the grappler hook from the reboot. You know, some of the fight moves as well. Very reminiscent of those games. You know, the puzzle solving and obstacle maneuvering stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
You
from
see
the
them
genre.
jumping around. She have a lot of jumping around, platforming stuff from the
Yeah.
games again, all of that.
Yeah, it's there as well, right? I also love to just going back to Castlevania. Yeah, you know they'll give you some creepy stuff, right? You know, you'll see like some monsters here or there. Like I thought that the creature design was dope as well. I should mention too. There's one moment where the story of a particular legend is explained. I like that they do it in a sort of a circa 80s Dragon Ball Z kind of style. Like I thought that moment in particular really, really
yeah.
stood out. I thought that moment was really fun. I could tell like the people behind the scene probably had a blast just doing that, right? And I don't want to say how that moment ends though, but there's like a little blink in the missing moment right after that story is told that literally had me laughing. I thought that was like genuinely funny, right? But yeah, as a whole, yeah, you kind of get what you expect from a show like this, right? You get the adventures, you get the supernatural stuff, you get the overpowered bad guy who have to acquire every single, you know, MacGuffin, you know, in order to do damage. And because of that, though, it doesn't really do anything like amazing or spectacular. It's not. Sorry that we have to compare this. It's not like Castlevania where they really flesh out the world of that story to the point like wow, like you could actually look at the games in a much different light, right? But this one kind of stays to the formula. That's what it is. It stays to the formula of nearly every Tomb Raider game, right? It gives you the goods. Yep. That's what you get, right? I do admire the effort put into fleshing out Lara's character and especially her mindset. I really do like how they give her a lot of like emotional moments as well, just her dealing with grief and all that kind of stuff. That really worked for me, and I love how they really connected to the adventures as well, right? But yeah, other than that though, it's a Tomb Raider show. I can't say that it's the best Tomb Raider show that I've seen in a while. I guess for me at the end of the day, it's just because I'm not a huge fan of the franchise. So I'd imagine if you are a diehard fan, you will absolutely love this, right? I only played one game, the 2013 one, and I saw lots of like I got the vibe of that game in this show. That's a compliment I'll give it, right? But yeah, I enjoyed it, but this is not one honestly that I'm gonna remember in a hurry. But I do hope that we get a second season because what we got here is promising. You know, we could get a really satisfying series out of it, right? Because yes, don't mind it took us long to get to this point here, but yes, a animated Tomb Raider show can work. It really can, and this first season, you know, was the evidence of that, right? So here's hoping that we do get a second season and it really like give us something, you know, fresh. You know, mean something just something a little bit different, right? But yeah, you know, it's fine for what it is, right? So for me, I'll give this strong 3 to a very light 3.5 out of 5. It's alright for what it is, man. It's on Netflix. Check it out, man. Unless you just don't care for the franchise at all. But yeah, any last words? And I guess you can repeat your reading.
Yeah. Again, I'll probably pop it up to 6 because more thinking about it. It's reasonably well made and well voice acted, as it was. So I didn't really have a problem with it in that sense. Just so by the numbers, like I couldn't really think about it, and then I'm not really clamoring for any new Tomb Raider material myself. So it's like, all right, in and out. So like when I saw it on, you wanted to review it, I was like, oh, okay, this is a thing. All right, no problem. And since it's short. That is the main thing. It was just enough for me to not lose me. If I did see an hour or whatever it is now, it's like, nah, I ain't watching this. But yeah, it's just fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 out of 10. It's fine.
Right.